let me talk about some of the things that betrayed partners focus on that are not healthy. They're the wall of the racetrack, okay? Then we're going to talk about what you should be focusing on. So, most commonly, betrayed partners are focusing on the unfaithful partner. They're focusing on their spouses. They're sending articles, sending videos, trying to explain their pain away. Sometimes the betrayed partners will set up the counseling appointments or the consultation calls, and they're so focused on their partner's healing that all of their energy is going in that direction. All of the energy is going into understanding why your spouse did this, how your spouse could have done this, what your spouse did, and then setting up all of their healing for them. So focusing on our spouses is extremely common. Another thing that betrayed partners focus a lot on are APs, the affair partner. What we're doing in these cases, again, the brain doesn't know the danger. The affair partner is danger. So the betrayed partners will focus on the affair partners. They may look them up on social media. They may create fake accounts so that they can kind of stalk what affair partners are doing. They can focus on with their spouse. Their questions can be about the affair partner. What did she look like? Where does she live? How old is she? What color was her hair? All of focusing on the affair partners. So again, focusing on something is where the energy is going to go, and betrayed partners will get stuck. And it almost becomes like an obsession where they're looking at affair partners' social media accounts a couple hours a day, right? Googling affair partners' names, looking them up on LinkedIn. Where are they? What are they doing? So where focus goes, energy flows. What else can betrayed partners focus on? They can focus on the marriage, right? They can be focused on the marriage as a higher kind of what do I want to say? Rather than focusing on what did my husband do, they're focusing on, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my marriage? How can I get my marriage better? I want my old marriage back, right? They focus on the marriage. This is marriage counseling. This is why so many people end up in marriage counseling. They're focusing on the marriage, communication, conflict resolution, I call them the socks on the floor issues, right? Like who does more, who isn't appreciative, who needs to be more grateful, right? Focusing on those marital issues. All right. That's not it. That's not healing. We're going to get to what you should be focusing on in a minute, but you hear me say all the time, marriage counseling doesn't work. And again, this falls right into that, because we're focusing on the marriage. We're putting effort and energy into the marriage. That's not what needs to be happening right now. The other thing that betrayed partners will get stuck focusing on is the story. That was me for 3 years. I couldn't heal. I couldn't focus on anything except the story because my husband had trickled it out over those 3 years. So I got trapped in detective mode. And the problem is that I was rewarded for that, because the longer I stayed in detective mode, the deeper I got into his life and his, piecing all of his pieces together, right? The pieces of his own puzzle. The more I did that, the more I found out eventually he had to admit to things, because I finally had proof. I had actual proof that he couldn't deny anymore, even though he tried for a little while. So I was focused on getting the story. I was focused on the truth. And I stayed stuck there because, again, I was rewarded. So once I got enough information and he finally admitted, yes, Beth, you were right all along, but now that's it. I swear to God, there's nothing more. Well, I didn't believe that. My focus stayed in the story, and I kept digging and kept digging and kept digging. Found out more. He had to admit, apologize, promise there's nothing else. I stayed in detective mode, kept digging, found more. He had to That was my life for 3 years. So I was focused entirely on getting somebody else's story. Getting somebody else's story. What nobody told me at all during those 3 years, which is why I'm so passionate about teaching, nobody told me that it was not my story to dig out. I should have sat back and said, you know what? Here's a big, strong boundary. Until you do a full disclosure after talking to a therapist on your own and figuring out your own stuff, I'm putting a big wall up and only focusing on me. But I didn't do that. I stayed stuck, focusing on him, his healing, the story, the what, the why, the how. I stayed stuck in that.